morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
My name is John Great Akporaro. John Great Akporaro. I'm the HOD of this department. Once again, you are welcome to the Fishery Department of Songhai Delta and Mokpe.
Thank you, sir.
Over here, we produce catfishes of all sizes, and we also train people on how to produce these various sizes of the catfishes. So what we want to do here today, we want to do what we call the artificial spawning. Artificial spawning. And for us to go about the artificial spawning, for me to break it down a little, artificial spawning is reproducing smaller fishes from their parents, producing smaller fishes from their parents. That is what we mean by artificial spawning. So we're doing it, that is why we say artificial, because it's not natural. If they are the one doing it in the wild, it's called spawning. But since we are the one doing it, it's called artificial spawning. And for you to do what we call artificial spawning, you need a male fish and a female fish. A male fish and a female fish. And for this fish to be ready for this job we want to do, that means this fish must have lived for 1 year and above. This fish must have lived for 1 year and above. So those are the kind of fish you can use for artificial spawning or artificial breeding. So for us to proceed, we will now identify this male fish or female fish. So before we identify them, you can also refer to this fish as broodstock. Broodstock. You can also refer to them as broodstock or gravid fish. Broodstock or gravid fish. So we want to do the identification. First of all, I'll be showing you the male, how to identify the male, how to identify the female. So over here with me, I have the female fish. Now, first criteria to identify the female fish. One, when looking at the fish, you see that the fish is robust with big tummy. That is one sign to show that this fish is a female fish. Then secondly, you turn the fish upside down, like what I'm doing now. When you turn it upside down, you observe two organs. The two organs, they are almost the same thing, they look alike. The first one is the anus, while the other one is the genital opening. The anus, the first one is the anus, the second one is the genital opening. So this is how to identify a female fish. One is robust with big tummy, two is having two alike organ, which is the anus and the genital opening. Then the third criteria, you are going to massage this fish gently from the head region to the genital opening. When you do that, if it's a female truly, a slight egg will come out from the tummy of the fish. And if that egg comes out, you know that is a female fish. Then, if the eggs that comes out, they are whitish, you know that that female fish is not ready. Even if it has lived for 1 year and above, it's not ready. If the colors of egg that comes out, they are green, light green, know that the fish is still on the process. If the color that comes out are dark green, know that you can still use that fish. Then if the color that comes out again is brown, know that that one is the perfect fish. for artificial spawning. If the color is brown, know that it's a perfect fish for artificial spawning. So this is how to identify a female fish. Okay, Abu said that we also identify the male. So let me get the male fish that we can identify it. Now, if we look at this fish, it's also having two organs. But if you look very well, you discover that the organs are not the same like the first one. You have the anus, which is the same like the first one, but you have another organ that is protruding, as in long. So this organ is called the genital papilla. So when looking at the fish, you know that it's having a different organ from the first one. So if you see anyone with a long genital papilla, with an anus, know that is a male. The second, if you look at the fish, it's longer than the first one. It's slender and long. So these are the criteria you can use to know if it's a male fish or not. Two organs, one is the anus, and the other one is the genital papilla. While the female, two organs, one is the anus, while the other one is the genital opening. Thank you very much. So, after identifying them, it then means you are set for the job, which is the artificial spawning. So what you do, we'll be injecting the female, not the male. Be injecting the female, not the male. And for us to do that, for us to inject, we need a drug. Generally, the drug is called hormone. This drug is called hormone, and we have different kinds of hormone. The one I'm holding here is called the ovulin. The one I'm holding here is called the ovulin. We also have another type, it's called ovaprene. I will make mention of 3. We have a lot of them in the internet, so you can also go and browse more. This one is ovulin. We have the ovaprene and the ovatide. Ovulin, ovaprene, and the ovatide. Each of them comes in 10 mil. It's measured in mil. So each of them is 10 mil. Each of those ones I've listed for you, they are 10 mil. So what do? Now, ordinarily, this catfish you see does not reproduce in captivity. When I mean captivity, taking them from their original wild, their home, and bringing them to stock in your pond that you want to rear them, they will not breed for you. They will not reproduce at all. And so that is why we are carrying out this artificial spawning. So it means we are forcing them to reproduce. Is it not true? Mm-hmm. Now, ordinarily in the wild, they can reproduce. Why is it that here they cannot reproduce? It is because there is a gland in their forebrain. That gland is called pituitary gland. Pituitary gland. So it is that gland. Whenever that gland is secreted, the female fish will start ovulating in the wild. But whenever they are in captivity, they don't secrete that gland. So it can never reproduce under captivity. So it is that gland that the white man took and modified into this drug we call hormone. Are you getting it? So it then means when you use this drug to inject any gravid female, you understand what I mean by gravid female? A female that is ready. A female you have checked the egg and the color of the egg, you are satisfied by it. A female that you are ready to use for spawning, artificial spawning. So any of the female you inject with this drug, after 9 hours, the fish will start ovulating. What do I mean? The fish will start bringing out the egg without you struggling with the fish. And that is what we want to do this morning. So for us to inject the female fish, you must weigh the fish. For us to inject the female fish, you must what? You must weigh the fish. You must know the weight of the fish. So let's assume the standard for the dosage is 0.5 ml to a kg of fish. The standard to this drug is 0.5 ml to a kg of fish. Now let me break it down. Assuming we weigh the female fish and it's 2 kg. Assuming we weigh the fish and it's what? 2 kg. What we are going to do, we will divide that 2 kg into 2 equal half. One of the half is how many? We divide 2 into equal half. That is 2. That is 1 plus 1 is 2. So if we divide 2 equal half, it means it's 1. Is it not true? 1 plus 1. So that means that fish that weighs 2 kg are going to give 1 meal. Yes, so if the fish is 1 kg, how many meal are we going to give?
0.5.
Thank you very much. So that is what we want to do now. So let's assume that we drew the drug inside this syringe. This one is 2 ml syringe. You can use any syringe, but the best is 2 ml because it's small, you can handle it. So let's assume that this fish is 2 kg, and after sharing it into 2 equal half, is now 1. So we are giving 1 ml. So for us to inject, we get the female fish. Let's assume that this one is the female fish. Now for us to inject this fish, if you look at the fish very well, you will see a line from the tail region, very faint line. Are you seeing it? Mm-hmm. See the line, very faint line down to the head. Are you seeing it? Though it's faint, but look at it here. You see a line like this. Are you seeing the line?
Yes, sir.
See the line from here. See the line, very faint.
Yes, sir.
Line running through. So that line is called the lacteal line. The lacteal line. And for you to inject the fish, you must inject the fish in between the lacteal line and the dorsal fin. This is the dorsal fin of the fish. This is the dorsal fin of the fish. So for you to inject any of the female fish, you must inject the fish in between the line and the dorsal fin. So this is in between the line. Is it not true? Yes, so you can inject the fish any parts in between the dorsal fin and the lacteal line. You can inject the fish here on both sides. The line is on both sides. The reason is because it is that line that divide the upper tissue from the lower tissue. And the lower tissue is the one containing the organs of the fish, e.g. the heart of the fish, the kidney of the fish, the intestine of the fish. It is that lacteal line that divides the fish into 2 equal parts. And that is where you find the bone. So the reason why we don't inject below that line, you might go and inject now, you inject the kidney. And before the next morning, the fish is what?
Okay.
It's gone. But the upper region is mainly of tissues. So there is no way you can kill the fish injecting the tissues. And that is why nurse and doctor, they are very careful not to inject your vein. Is it not true?
Yes.
So for us to inject the fish, you bring the fish out. There's our syringe. Okay. Let's assume that this fish is 2 kg. We have shared it into 2 equal parts. That means we are giving 1 meal. So for you to inject the fish, don't inject the fish like this. Don't inject like this. Inject at angle of 45 degrees. When you want to inject, don't hold this handle to inject, because if you hold this handle, maybe while struggling to put the needle in, you might pump the drugs out. So you hold the syringe like this and penetrate the fish. Can you see me?
Yes,
After that, you can hold it like this and begin to pump it gradually. Gradually. When you are done pumping, so that you use your thumb or this your hand, you pull out the injection, the syringe, and you start massaging the fish to distribute the hormone evenly around the body of the fish. Because if you don't do that, it will swell here the hormone might not be able to spread out. So you do. When you are done, you return the fish to a separate compartment. The fish must stay in one compartment. You must not mix two fish together, except if the space is big and you want to inject more than one fish. You can put them in a bigger space, but in a smaller space like this, you must put one fish in one compartment. Or you are using keg, you might put one fish in one compartment. If you put two together, you might lose two of them before the next morning because they will fight. Because they are very aggressive. Then two, the hormone will increase their anger for each other. So that's why you separate them. So anyone that wants to fight, let him fight himself. So that is how to inject. So as soon as you inject, you count 9 hours from that point of injection. 9 hours. You can also 9 to 12 hours. So it then means from that point in 9 to 12 hours, the fish will start ovulating. When it is 9 hours, the fish will start ovulating. So when the fish started ovulating, they know that the fish is ready. And that is what we want to do now. So the fish we injected now is already ready because we injected them last night by 11 p.m. So by 8 today, they should be ready. So that is what we want to do now. So I want to bring the fish from where I kept it. So if we look at this fish, what kind of fish is this?
Female.
Why did you say it's a female fish? Yeah, so for us to check for ovulation, we try to move the fish gradually to look at the genital opening if eggs started coming out. Gradually. So, when looking at it, if you look at this one, the egg has not started coming on their own. So you try, press a little whether the eggs will come out. Did you see how they came out?
Yes.
So it means the fish is ready. Okay? The fish is ready. So when the fish is ready, you take it back, then get your male. Take it back, get your male. The reason is because sometimes this male, they don't have gonad. What I mean gonad, they don't have testes. Okay? You know, testes is where the sperm is. But in fishery, we don't call it testes, we call it gonad. And we don't call sperm, we call it milt. M-I-L-T. We don't call it sperm, we call it milt. So what we do, when the female is ready, we attend to the male. The reason is because if we strip out the egg from the female now, after stripping it out and we check the male, there is no gonad. What happened? That means our work will be fruitless if we can't get another male within 1 hour. And so that is why we will not strip the female until we are satisfied that we have a male that can do the job. Okay? So let's assume that we caught this fish. Let's assume that we caught this fish. This one is a male fish that has been caught already. It's a male fish that has been caught already. Let's assume that we've sacrificed the male now. And under the intestine, you have the gonad. So we've removed this one. And let's assume that this is the gonad. This is the one we remove. Most of you might have seen it, or you might not take note of it. So this is the testes of the fish. They are always two. They are always two, with one smooth edge and serrated edge. They are always two. If you look at this, it's milky in color. Is it not true? That means this gonad is perfect. That means it's mature. There are some, you will look at them, they are reddish. Those ones that they are not too mature, but this one is mature. So let's assume that we've gotten the gonad. So after getting the gonad, that means we are good to go. So for us, you know, if initially when I bring this gonad from the fish, it will be stained with blood. Is it not true? You are not supposed to use any fresh water. What I mean by fresh water, water from the tap. You are not supposed to use any water to touch that gonad, to wash the blood out. What you do, you can use tissue paper or napkin to remove the blood. Then secondly, part of the materials needed for this job is what we refer to as the saline solution. Part of the material. Part of the material, one of them are the fishes. You also have the saline solution. You might have seen this normal drip. You've gone to the hospital? Yes. Normal saline, not sterilized water, normal saline. Yes.
Injection water.
What did you call it?
Injection water.
No. I think that is what they also refer to, injection water. Yes, you are correct. Normal saline, not dextrose saline. That solution is made up of water and what? And salt. But even if we don't have that kind of water, we can also prepare our own. So that is what we want to do. We want to prepare our own. So for us to prepare our own, this is a Ragolis bottle, is it not true? This one is 75 cl. Abi? It's 75 cl. So what we do, I've already put this water here. It's not a chemical. So let me do it in your presence so that you can look at it. It's a chemical. So let's get water from the tap. Get water from the tap. So we assume that this one is 75 cl. Okay? 75 plus 25 is how many? 100. And 100 cl is what? 1 liter. 100 cl is 1 liter. So let's assume that this one is 25. We are assuming, but if you have a can that measured 100 cl is okay. So this one is 25. Adding to the 75 is how many? 100, which is 1 liter. So we get a common salt, a table salt. A level teaspoon of a common salt. Look at what I'm doing. Level teaspoon of a common salt. So this one is a level teaspoon of a common salt, not a tablespoon. A teaspoon. So we put it in the water. So by dissolving this salt into the water, we've made 0.9% salt solution, which is exactly with the saline solution. So this is the only water that is accepted to come in contact with that gonad. Do you get me now? So we are returning our water back. Okay, so we are done with this stage. So what we want to do now is to strip the fish. What I mean by stripping is to get the eggs, the readied egg from the female fish. And for you to do that, the bowls you want to put the egg into must not contain droplet of water. You must use your hankin to wipe all the water droplet out of it. So I am the operator. Then one of you is going to stand as the assistant. So you assist me. You assist me. So which of you is ready to assist me? Okay, you assist me. Then I will also need another person. I want 3 of us to participate. So you hold the bowl. Me, the operator, I will hold. Please give them chance to see, okay? So me, I will hold the head of the fish with my hankin. You must not hold the fish with your bare hand so that it doesn't slip off your hand. So I will hold the fish. This is your another hankin. You will use this one to hold the tail of the fish for me. Okay? Okay, you come this way. You come this way. So I will hold the head now as the operator. I will hold it firm so that it doesn't struggle out of my hand. So you hold the tail. Hold the tail gradually. Shift your hand backward from the genital opening. Still come forward. Still come forward. Still come. It's okay. So you now put the bow under the genital opening. Then I will now do the massaging. So this is what we call stripping. So as I press, you start seeing the air coming out. No, turn your side a little. Okay. Which color of egg is this?
Dark green. Dark green.
So we'll strip this fish until we see blood sign coming out. Are you seeing blood sign now?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing blood sign on the egg?
No.
No. Okay, so we'll continue to strip, don't worry. When you see blood sign, you will know. Are you seeing blood sign now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So you can return this fish. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. So we are done with the stripping. So what we want to do now is the artificial fertilization. That's so done. I have to wash my hand with the saline solution in case there is any contamination. This is the saline solution, right? Anything I want to use, I will sterilize them. You know, salt is a disinfectant, so that is what I'm using to sterilize. So this is our gonad. I told you it's always two. You might ask, what about the other one? We've done one set, so this is the other one. So we are going to cut this gonad open with either your surgical blade or your razor blade, any sharp object. So we are cutting the gonad now to get at the what?
Milk.
Thank you very much. To get at the milk. So we'll cut. So after this, get the saline solution and use it to rinse the gonad. You are done rinsing. And we'll stir. You see the water becoming milky, Abby? So the meat is having a milky color. So we can decide to rinse the leftover meat from the gonad with the help of the saline solution. So after we've done that, we stir it as if we want to fry egg. This is the bowl containing the egg. So what we'll do, we'll add this solution, this meat solution and salt solution. We'll add it to the egg. We'll add and we'll shake and we'll stir. We'll stir this for 1 to 2 minutes. As we are stirring, fertilization is already taking place. Fertilization is already taking place. For you to ascertain that truly fertilization has taken place, as you are shaking it, you will see bubbles of foam. Bubbles of foam. Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
So we assume that fertilization has taken place. So what we are doing now is the artificial fertilization. Is it up to 2 minutes? Is it more than 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I said 1 to 2 minutes. So it's not compulsory, it must be 2 minutes. So after the artificial fertilization, we now go to the hatchery tank to spray this egg. So the process of putting this egg into the hatchery is what we refer to as spraying. So let us go over there. Okay, so we're about spraying the egg, so let's come to the hatchery. So this is the hatchery. This is the hatchery tank. Inside the hatchery tank you have the water. Then you also have the hatchery mat. This is the hatchery mat. So we'll spray this egg now. So this is how to spray the egg. You spray the egg evenly. Make sure you spread them out completely to give them equal opportunity to hatch out. So what we are doing now is called spraying. So we are done spraying the eggs. So 24 hours from now, they will start hatching out into a larva. Anyone that hatch out will pass through this hatchery mat. You know it's having hose. Anyone that hatch out pass through this net and go to the bottom of the pond to settle. So at that point we call them the larva. So 24 hours from now, they will start hatching. So after this spraying, we are going to drop this tarpaulin you see. We are going to drop it down. The reason is because we want to conserve temperature inside this compartment. Because if we leave it like this, winds can help us to regulate the temperature. And we don't want wind to help us to regulate that. So we want a temperature that will allow this egg to hatch out within 24 hours. And that temperature we need is room temperature, which is 27 degrees to 32 degrees. That is the temperature we need here. That is why your hatchery must be built indoor. Your hatchery, you don't build hatchery outside. But if you are building it outside because of lack of fund, then you can have a cover to cover it whenever you are done, especially during the rainy season when everywhere is cold. So after this stage now we'll let down this tarpaulin, then by tomorrow this time you start seeing them hatching out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I wanted to know, like, this water, is it just fresh water or there are other things added to the water?
Okay, what is your name?
Samuel Itesi.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, this one is a fresh water. And for you to carry out this job we are doing here, you must know the pH of this water. Most importantly, the pH of this water. And the pH that is required for this job is 6.5. The pH that is required for this job is 6.5. 6.5. So how do we know that this water now is having a pH of 6.5? We have an instrument you can use in testing the water pH, which is your pH meter. So you dip that meter inside this water and it will give you the readings. For instance, if your pH is 5, which is not up to 6.5, what do? Before today now, we've pumped out this water. So when you pump out this water before today or 2 days time, you discover that if the pH is 5 before, it will appreciate gradually to 6.5. And if you don't want to do that also, we can also use chemical to treat this water to boost the pH. Can use chemical like calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Can also call it agricultural lime. So if you add little of that quantity to this water and test with your pH, you discover that the pH has increased. So you continue to add till you get that desired pH, which is 6.5. So that is how to go about it. But if your pH, your pH is 7, you can pump the water anytime and do your archery. Yes, more question?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I wanted to ask if one injection can be used to induce more than one fish.
One injection.
One syringe. If you can
Okay. You know, since they are animals, though the better part of it is that use one syringe to one fish and discard. Yes. Use one syringe to one fish and discard.
How many male can be sacrificed to you? How many female for one male?
Okay. Now the ratio for male to female in spawning is 2 male to 1 female. 2 male to 1 female. The reason is what I've explained to you. That sometimes the male, they don't have gonad. So for instance, maybe you are having only 1 male, and after tearing it open, no gonad. You start running into scatter. So that is why you need 2 male. So that by the grace of God, you tore one and there is nothing, you can fall back to the other one.
Okay, so how many gonads per male?
2.
Okay.
Each male is having 2 gonads. And if that gonad, if the 2 are well bulky, they are very okay, you can even use one of the gonad to fertilize 2 female. Let's say 2 to 3 female. Like what we did here now, we have 2 female. And we use only 1 fish to fertilize those 2 female by using one gonad from one of the fishes. Yes. I can hear you. Talk.
Okay, I found that after spraying the eggs of the net,
yes,
some of the eggs are turning white.
Okay. Fine. These eggs that are whitish, they are already whitish from their mother's ovary. It means these ones are dead. Those white eggs, they are dead. They are not good. They are not viable. Yes.
I want to ask, why do we use this net to spray instead of spraying direct to the water?
Yes. Now, if you look at this egg, they are sticky. And if they gum, their hands, if they touch your hand, they will stick to your hand. So if you spray them on the floor without an archery mat, which is serving as a substrate to them, they will go and stuck to the bottom. And this egg, they need a wave of the water column to be toasting them about so that they can ash at. Because if they are stuck, they will not be able to ash at.
Okay, then my second question is, I observed that we only fertilize the male fish with a hormone called ovulin.
Okay.
Now what about the female? Is it the same this thing that we use, what do we use to fertilize them? Or is it the fish that already have the egg? Explain that part.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, like what you want to say, we only inject the female fish that is ready, that have ready egg for the job. That is the fish we inject. We don't inject the male. We only inject the female fish. So for the male, we don't inject them. Yeah.
Sir, is it possible for there to be a gonad without the mate in it?
Yes. Maybe if that fish might have stayed more than, let's say, 4 years, because the more the male fish stay, the gonad will start depreciating. So you can also have a black gonad without nothing inside. Okay?
Why are we not using, you told us earlier on that the gonad, we should use a handkerchief and tissue paper to clean. We should not use water. Why are we not using water?
Okay. Now, if water touch that meat, it will lose its potency. It will reduce its potency. So that is why water, anything like water, must not touch the meat, except saline solution. Because the meat himself is a product of a saline solution. If you test it in your tongue, it's saline.
Okay, sir.
So the kind of net you're using, is it just a normal net?
Okay?
What we're seeing here?
Yes. The net you are seeing here is the Alomaco net. The one we use for those windows, mosquito net. You know, we have 3 kinds of mosquito net. We have the very tiny one, the one on the screen. That is the smallest one. Now, if you use that net, that net cannot float like this. You must hang it with gadget. Then 2, this egg, after hatching out, they cannot pass through that one. It's too small. Then we have the other black one. The other black one cannot stand on its own like this. You also need to support it. So if that is the one that is available to you, you can make use of it. But it will not stand like this. You need to suspend. But this one can suspend itself without any gadget. So this is the best one.
Okay, so I would like to also find out, now you've used one female.
Yes.
What's the quantity of larva you're expecting? Because larva turns to the fingerling.
Yes.
If I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay.
The quantity we'll be expecting from here is 2,500 to 3,000.
500.
Yes. Out of that 2,500 to 3,000, are going to lose 10%. Okay. So with a good management, you should be talking about at least 2,000 to 2,500.
Okay. So how do you actually identify larva?
Okay. By the grace of God, tomorrow this time, if you look at this egg, you will not see them dormant again. You will see them shaking. All this egg you will see them moving like ants. And if you look down the tank, you also see the ones that have left the net. They will cluster at the bottom of the tank and also moving like ants. So that is how to identify that they are larvas.
So how long does it take for fertilization to be complete?
I say 1 to 2 minutes.
Sir?
So that is why you stay 1 to 2 minutes before you spray. Yes.
Can all the egg hatch?
No. All the eggs cannot hatch. The reason is because out of the 2,500 to 3,000 eggs, all of them may not be viable. Okay? So the viability of the eggs varies from fishes to fishes. Maybe some might have viability of 80%, while others might have viability of 50%. Just like that. So all the eggs cannot hatch out. There's no magic about it.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me say, as I've gone through this training and I decided I want to start my own farm.
Yes.
And I do all this process, and I want to do all this process to have my own fish.
Yes.
Where do you think I can get a good
Yes.
a good fish to be able to do all this?
Yes. For you to get this fish that is used for this job, you know, we call them broodstock or gravid fish, I mean, they are not gotten from the market. You don't sell them in marketplace because Just imagine, can somebody take fish of 2 years to the market? No, those they sell in the market, they are 6 months, 4, 5, 6 months. So for you to get this kind of fish, you go to a reputable farm like Songhai or like any other farm. So that is the only place you can get broodstock to buy. Then you can also get your own broodstock by raising your fingerlings for more than a year. You also have your own broodstock.
So are you saying I can get broodstock from the normal fingerlings if I buy it?
Yes, yes.
Than 1 year.
Yes.
Can reproduce.
You have gotten broodstock already.
So do they have certain probably species that are better?
Yes. We have 2 major genus. We have the Heterobranchus bidosalis. Then we have the Clarias species. The Clarias species, we also have 3 types. But I will tell you the good one among these 3, and the fast growing one, is the Clarias garipinus. That is the one we have here. Clarias garipinus.
So what origin is this name from? Is it Latin or?
Whether Hebrew, any one of them.
Something, sir, you said after.
Could you please
Sir, you said.
Wait, it's okay.
Sir, you said after 24 hours it
Yes.
turns to lava.
Yes, they will start ashing out into
After
lava.
What is the process? What is the next process?
Yes. As soon as they start ashing out by tomorrow this time, we need to be very careful now with this water. You know, any of the egg that ash out, that egg got to release waste product. Is it not true? Okay. Any egg that ash out, it will release waste into the water. So each one of them that is ashing out will be releasing waste into the water. So a time will come, this water that is transparent will not be transparent, will be turning cloudy. And if you allow that process to begin, to continue, the lavas you've gotten already will die. So what do? So from tomorrow after 24 hours, you start monitoring this water. Some persons will start running water from the inlet. This is the inlet. As they run water inside the system, they will also open the outlet. That is the outlet. So as they do that, they are flushing the system. Okay? So when you do that, you are telling the system not to be polluted. So you do that until when you discover that majority of the egg, the ones that want to ash, has ash out. So you can simply remove this net, pack it up, shake it gradually so that the ones hanging under can fall out. So you remove this net. Assuming you have another ashery or incubator, you can also take this net there. And the ashery will also continue, will also continue there. Then this one, make sure that first day, which is tomorrow, make sure the water is clean like this. If the water is milky, try and flush it to be as transparent as this. Okay, so that's what you do. Yes.
So at the process of letting the water out from there,
yes.
Do you think some of the fishes will be going out?
Fine. Now, if you look at the outlet, you will see a screen. That screen, these lavas cannot pass through, especially the chiffon. So by tomorrow now, we are going to add chiffon to this one, because this one, the lavas can hang on it. So we add chiffon to this one to prevent the lavas from going out while releasing water. Yeah.
Sir,
yes.
you told us earlier on that we should count 9 hours to 12 hours.
Yes.
Before the fish starts ovulating.
Yes.
If the thing is over 12 hours, can the fish still ovulating?
Yes. Maybe if you allow it more than that, only the fish will be releasing the egg into the water. And any of them that is released into the water is gone, is bad. Yes, because the egg you see, have you seen bees seed? Bees is having a coat or a cap. The egg is also having such, and the one of the egg is open, waiting for anything to come in contact with it. So anything that comes in contact with it, it will accept that thing and close up. So if it's going to accept water, what happens? It's dead already because there is no fertilization taking place.
So the egg, like the mate, like the iguana, does not come in contact with water.
Which one?
The egg.
No. Okay. That is why I said your bowl must be wiped.
Okay, so another question.
Yes.
After 24 hours and the fishes are coming out from the net, after having them, are we going to feed them or something? Or when do we start feeding them?
Okay, so the first day, like what I said, after removing the nets, which is tomorrow this time. So tomorrow this time, they're already ashing out, right? So we'll be washing when majority of them might have ash out. So let's assume that by 30 hours or 36 hours, what we need, we've gotten it. We cannot pack this net. So we refer to that day as day one, just like the day old chick.
Okay, 30 hours after the 24 hours.
24, 25, 26, we'll be counting like that. Before 30 to 36 hours, majority might have ash out. So we cannot remove the net. So let's say by tomorrow evening, let's say 5, 6, we should remove the net.
So how long are they going to stay?
Which one?
The eggs.
Let's say 30 or 36 hours.
Or is it the larva? The larva, is it different from the finger?
Yes, the larva is the first stage after the egg stage. So for the larva to become fingerling, it's going to take us 4 to 6 weeks to take care of them here.
Wow.
4 to 6 weeks for them to become fingerling.
Okay, then, sir.
Yes.
Earlier you mixed saline solution.
Yes, salt and water. Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Why do you do that? Why do you mix it together?
Yes. What I do, I just want to get the stock milk from the gonad. That's why I rinse it out.
Okay.
Yes.
That means the saline water is not harmful.
No.
Stop fertilization.
No. Does it stop?
But does it aid it?
Let me say to some extent, because there is water, so it also quicken it also.
Okay. Can we use the bottled water?
Yes.
We use 100 cl.
100 cl, which is 1 liter. Yes.
Can we use more than that, or can we less?
No, you just need a little at a time.
Okay.
But
Yes.
you use that for the standard measurement.
Yeah, that is the standard measurement. So assuming you want to fertilize more than 1 female, you can be making use of it. It's exhausted. Till I see you next time. Shalom.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And that was such a beautiful class with Mr. Akporaro on fish farming and spawning. He's here with me and I want to have a few words with him. I have questions and I know he's going to answer our questions for us. So let's meet him. Good morning, Mr. Akporaro.
Yeah, good morning. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for that class. It was very interesting and educating.
Thank God.
So how do you enjoy meeting our students today on the program?
Very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, okay. And they are wonderful because they are ready to learn.
Yes,
and that is why you see them asking questions.
Yeah, they had lots of questions.
Okay.
So I have questions myself.
Okay.
I saw you regularly hold the fish with cloth on the head. Is there a reason why you do that?
Yes. The reason why I do that, you know, the fish is having a slime body which can slip off your bare hands. So you need a damp hanky to grab the fish very well so that it doesn't slip out from your hands while carrying out the operations.
Okay, so I've had catfish before.
Okay.
Without the cloth.
Okay.
And when you hold the catfish, it struggles.
Yeah.
But I noticed it's like holding it with the cloth makes things different.
Yes.
You don't struggle when you hold it with cloth.
Yes.
You didn't struggle at all.
Yes. Yes. Okay. And that is why you are using that cloth. Like what I said, that cloth, I said a damp cloth. That means a cloth that is with a bit wet. Yeah. So when you use that cloth to hold the fish, it will look as if the fish is in its natural habitat because it's wet. Okay. And your hand, your hand is hard on the fish. That is why you see him struggling. But if you hold it with that hanking, the fish will relax.
Calm.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. So you said something about female fishes being fat. Okay. Like when they are with eggs.
Yes.
Is it when they are mature enough to bring forth eggs, or just every female fish is fat?
No.
Naturally?
No. When it's ready for reproduction. Okay. So that is one of the criteria to identify that this one is a female fish, because ordinarily as they are growing, it might not look very robust like that. Just like the female gender. Now, when they are not pregnant, you cannot really see this one is having a big tummy. Okay. But when it's pregnant, you can ascertain that this one is pregnant. And so that is how you can.
So is it possible for a female fish to be infertile?
Yes, a female fish can be infected. For instance, if you look at, like when I was talking with them, I said, for you to check if the female fish is ready, you massage the abdomen gently. If the eggs that comes out, they are whitish, it means at that stage, the fish is not ready.
Okay.
Why there are some fishes, no matter they have stayed, when you check them, you always see whitish egg. It means those ones are infertile.
Okay.
You cannot make use of those fish at all. You got to discard them or use them for pepper soup.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
You said something also about the not being able to fertilize themselves or hatch eggs in confined
environment,
natural states.
Yes.
Is there something that causes this? That how do they know biologically within them that they are not in their natural habitat?
Yes. For instance, like what I said, if you keep them under captivity, they know.
Okay.
Yes, with their sense, they know.
So they're
That,
intelligent.
yes, they know that this is not their natural environment.
Okay.
Because in their natural environment, there are the oxygen there is 100%, and they hardly come in contact with disturbance, even though they are much. But you discover that when you put them under captivity, like for me, I will not put one fish here. That means you don't want me to make profit. So I got to put 1,000. So they will be robbing each other. They know that something is happening. That's why they are close, always close. And so because of that, they will look as if they are in captivity, and they don't want. They are angry because they want to leave that place. And you discover that if any man is not having a peace of mind, he cannot do well.
Exactly.
And so they need peace.
Yes.
But if you can mimic the environment, they will spawn on their own.
So does that mean increasing the space of where they would live?
Increasing the space, and you must do a lot of study. How they live there, what are the conditions that is favorable to them there. You put them into practice here, and you see them reproduce it. Then secondly, these fishes, they reproduce in batches.
Okay.
Let's say they can release 200 eggs and hatch those eggs out. But you know, we as fish farmers, we are looking for money. So we want to spawn 20 eggs, we want to spawn 10,000, 100,000. And so that is why we are also doing this artificial spawning.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So you injected the milk into the eggs you had in the bowl.
Yeah.
So is it the same process that happens in the wild, or is there like the coming together of the fishes first before the female fish will maybe lay the fertilized egg? Is it the same process with laying the eggs and then the milk comes and sprinkles this around?
Yeah. It's not the same process. The natural one and this one is not the same process. Now, if you have seen fish egg before, they are in a thread, like a cellophane. It's called the, how will I call it? You know, this, it's like a seal that seals all the eggs. And this meat has the power to break that seal to go and fertilize the egg.
Okay.
So when the female lays the egg, as it spawns the eggs, the male will come and shower his milk, which is the sperm, on those eggs, and started to guide those eggs till they hatch out.
Okay, so the same process happens, but just different.
Yes, just differently. It's the same process.
Okay, sir. So is it possible for a female fish,
Yes,
to give? Sorry, I want to say give birth. A female fish to lay eggs. This spawning process, is it possible for it to happen like a couple of times, or is it one-time thing?
okay. Now they have cycle of 3, 4, 5 months.
Okay.
So maybe this fish now, they spawn twice a year.
Okay.
Twice a year.
So is it also possible for a fish to be ready before that 1 year limit you talked about earlier?
Yes.
It's very possible.
Yes, 1 year and above.
Is it
1 year.
possible for before 1 year?
No, it's not possible.
Okay.
Before 1 year, it's not possible. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
And that was it here with Mr. Akporaro. He has told us a lot about fish rearing, about how to spoon fish, and it was very interesting to listen to him. And I'm sure you learned as well. That's it for the session here on the show. Thanks for watching, guys.